Down at the garage this week, I've got to jumpstart the sale of an old classic, and I'm going to show Andy what 25 grand will get you.
This is superb.
Plus, what's Dolly the Sheep and this Ford Escort got in common? Can you spot what's wrong with this car? This 1962 1000cc Morris Minor has been on the market for a year. Daisy Hampton from Devon wants to sell it for £1,000, but the elusive sale is easier said than done. The car is completely immobile. The Morris has been advertised locally, nationally and in the specialist press, but the only viewings have been from Morris enthusiasts who just want a gulp. Time to get Daisy down to my garage and give her some help with her sale. Well done, Daisy. You've actually managed to get your moggy moving.
Shame it's on the back of a low loader.
In 1962, 600 quid in old money would get you a new Morris Minor. Nowadays, a top-notch moggy can go for up to 3,600 quid.
There's already some problems that I can see on this car right from the off. Right now, wheels are rotten dirty, they're covered in grease, somebody's had their thumbprints all over it. We can clean those up quite easily. There's quite a bit of rust on this car that's coming through. Now, you can't clean rust, unfortunately, and we haven't got time to get the car repainted. So there are some little bits you can do. You can actually polish rust to a degree.
So it'll never be invisible.
It'll never be invisible. It'll always be there, but it's one of the things that when we turn you into a super saleswoman, you've got to try and talk, you've got to try and talk around that.
Okay.
The person who's coming to buy the car, you're trying to give them less reasons not to buy it. You want them to see the good things, you know, the sparkly chrome, the nice shiny bodywork. That's what you want to try and get out of this car. On the interior, Daisy, what have you been doing? You've had a party in here, haven't you? And there was one thing that I noticed, actually. You were...
That's the bonnet prop.
That's a bonnet prop.
That's the bonnet prop.
You don't want that inside the car. You don't want to tell anyone that's the bonnet prop. So things like that you need to get rid of.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the seats are ripped. Now, we can put seat covers on.
Okay.
But you can actually buy a pair of seats for this car for next to nothing. So it's cheaper to just replace the seats than put seat covers on.
Okay.
We had a mechanical test done on this car. And you're ready for this. Take a deep breath. Because we've got fuel lines that are rusted, brake lines that are rusted, brake master cylinder. The clutch pedal doesn't feel right. The brakes are non-existent. They're not even working. The steering's loose. Ingrid, exhaust is blowing.
Is that all?
That's all. But there's some good news in that. Believe it or not, because after 1962, the Moggy was almost frozen in time, and they never ever changed it.
No.
And that's so simple mechanically to work on, and parts are easily sourced, they're ready available, and they're really quite cheap. So to get this car sold, we might have to invest a little bit of money and a little bit of time into it, but I'm sure we can improve it no end.
Daisy ideally wants £1,000 for a Morris Minor, but given its condition, she'll have to settle for something closer to 500 quid. But what do you think? If you phone in and correctly estimate Daisy's sale price, you could win a day screaming round a Grand Prix race circuit with a mate.
Now, what about you? Can we turn you into a super saleswoman?
You can have a go.
Imagine, if you will, for a minute, and I know it's almost impossible with this little car, but this car is now looking gleaming, shiny. You can sell this car with confidence. You've got nothing at all to worry about, and I'm a potential buyer. Right, so, hello Daisy, I've come to see your car. Tell me a little bit about it.
Right then, Mike, this is a 1962 four-door family saloon car with a two-tone interior. You don't see many of them anymore.
Very good,
No.
I like that. Nice big smile as well.
Nice big smile.
It's working, it's working.
Last few years she's been resprayed. She's had a new engine, new clutch, very shiny bits.
Oh no, I'm not happy now. This car must be problematic.
No, it's part of running a car like this, and actually when I bought it, the gentleman I bought it from made her look good, but he wasn't really driving her. So she was ready to be redone under the engine, and that's
so
what
you've done all of that, so
you shouldn't need to worry about
you shouldn't
that.
have to wait, and that's very important. You need to get that point across by saying, and you shouldn't have to spend any more money once you buy this car. You can buy it and drive it, and it should do you justice for another year.
Look after her as you would look after any old car, and she'll do you proud.
You have to be able to point out the distinguishing features. So what is this car got?
Changes colour with the weather. Sometimes she's blue, sometimes she's grey.
Brilliant.
She's got lovely old windscreen wipers that do that, and that's always great fun. And these are actually really brilliant. I wish modern cars had these, because you can direct the wind right onto you when it's hot and you just want a nice breeze.
You pass, baby. You are a saleswoman. You'll have no trouble selling this car. All we need to do is to get it tidied up for you, and I reckon
and find the right people who want to buy it.
Find the right people. We've got to start looking away from Morris owners and people who want to come and look at Morris's.
Yeah.
We've got to start looking at people who are looking for something trendy, something a bit quirky, and something a bit different.
If Daisy can't sell her car privately, she might have to consider going to auction. But for now, we'll aim for a spruced up Morris Minor and a private sale. We could cover the seats, but it's just as easy to replace them. At 45 quid, our pair do have a little tear, but this is a minor blemish compared to what was there before. This old door pull is about to come off in a potential buyer's hand. Not good sales technique. A new one is only 18 quid and will save you blushes. Tyre black, it's got to be worth a couple of quid and 10 minutes elbow grease to make the wheels more attractive.
Still beavering away there, Ian. What are you up to now?
Yeah, just changing the exhaust manifold clamp there. I've changed the fuel pipe from the pump to the carburettor, changed the master cylinder, rear wheel cylinder and a brake pipe.
So everything that we needed to be done
Yes.
has more or less been done?
Yeah, sure.
How much money we spent?
I would say about £200 today.
Does that include the bits that I went and bought earlier?
Yes, it does, yes.
That's not bad, is it?
All our genuine Morris parts, including £55 worth of floor mats, have come from a Morris Minor dealer, courtesy of the phone book. Right, that's all the work done, but what does Daisy think?
Oh my God! Wow!
There you go, Daisy.
It's fantastic.
What do you think?
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Little bit of spit and polish, little bit of elbow grease.
Look at the chrome.
Looks fantastic, doesn't it? It's
brilliant.
all
Look at
nice
the
and
wheels.
shining, gleaming.
Wow, I don't touch it.
No, don't touch it. Remember that car that turned up a couple of hours ago on a trailer?
on
Well,
a
it can
trailer.
now be driven home. It's running.
Yeah.
Everything works. It's got new
Good.
seats, new mats. It's all been tidied up inside.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yes, you
Looks
please.
brilliant.
It's looking like a brand new pin,
Looks
and you can
gorgeous.
now go and sell the car with confidence. So, what was you hoping to get?
Okay, originally I wanted £1,000, but that was over the odds for the condition that the car's
I
in.
agree.
So then earlier I was thinking maybe 500 would be more realistic.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Enjoy it. Good luck, and I'm sure you'll get it sold. Tell her, darling.
See you later.
So will Daisy be able to sell her Morris, and will she get what she wants for it? Keep watching to find out. How much do you think Daisy will get for her Morris? Phone this number with your estimate before the end of the show, and you and a friend could be winning a track day out for two, courtesy of our mates at Auto Trader. Out on the pitch, I've got a fella called Andy French. He's 29 years of age from Manchester, and he's an IT manager. He wants to buy a car for him and his fiancée before he gets married, settles down and has a couple of kids. The good news is he's got £25,000 to spend, which puts him in a whole different league. He's interested in the Audi TT, but he's keen to know what else he can get for his money. I've got a couple of options. Let's start with a classic. I have got something over here that you might shudder.
No.
No. Think about it for a minute, right? There's some good reasons why I'm showing you this car. This car will get you noticed, right? You'll be seen wherever you go in this car. People will point at you.
Big horns on the front.
Yeah, fair enough. If you was to buy this car, you'll be pulling up every single one of your mates' houses, throwing open this bonnet to show all your mates this fantastic work of art underneath. 1970, 5.7 litre Stingray. It looks good, doesn't it? You have to be careful, though. You have to make sure that there's no rust along this radiator front panel. You have to look down inside the inner wings, make sure the chassis, there's no rust on the chassis and it's nice and straight, because this body flexes quite a bit and they don't sit on the road quite nicely. I want you to slide yourself in to the beautiful interior. It's a bit like Thunderbirds inside, isn't it? Just think, as you're going down the road, people will be pointing. They might be laughing, but they will be pointing.
Oh, they'll be pointing, all right. Nope, the wife-to-be, she's going to kill me.
Would she? Mm-hmm. Instead of starting your marriage, you'll be ending it.
Single man again.
So I need to think of something a little bit more sensible, don't I?
Yeah.
How about something for the future? It's a Range Rover Overfinch. Under the bonnet lies 5.7 litres.
This is nice, but fuel?
Yeah, fuel.
Put your foot down.
You
fuel
can
gauge
actually
goes down.
you can actually see the fuel gauge move in this. I'm not going to lie to you.
I can see myself in this area. Round Cheshire.
Round Cheshire.
Horse box on the back.
Well, you might need a petrol tanker on the back. Not
Yeah,
a
but it's a car for a ladyship, this one.
There are a few problems though if you're going to buy one of these. One of which is you do get a bit of rust on the front wings.
Oh yeah.
But you know you can always check for that. It's quite easy. But down the back, you want to make sure this tailgate sits nice and squarely, because what happens is if you shut one of these and you keep shutting it in the middle, like that, the two ends bow out. So you want to make sure that somebody has been shutting it correctly using these. Inside, you want to look out for a little bit of rust around the top of the tailgate.
I could see myself in this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it? Right, now, I have got one final car to show you.
This is superb.
Gran Turismo, mate. It's great, isn't it? This is a Mitsubishi 3-litre 3000 GT twin turbo. This car is a T-plate. It's done 20,000 miles in your price range, 25 grand.
This is different, but this is cool.
It's good, isn't it?
This is
It
cool.
is good. The bad news is they are like a lead balloon in terms of depreciation. They do lose their money. The other thing is they are pretty complicated. If one of these goes wrong, it's big style. You know, you're in the workshop, it's going to cost you a lot of money to put it right. What do you think?
Oh, this is superb.
What will she think though indoors?
Who cares?
You really don't care.
This is a sports car.
It is a sports car.
It's like a limpet on the road.
So what's your first impression?
Well, I'm kind of putting my foot down in it, and it's just like frightening.
You're frightening me. So what about owning something like this? Is this the type of thing that you aspire to then?
It's a real sports car. You know, the TT is, you know, is a coupe. This is like the real thing, you know. And it, I mean, look at the smile on my face.
So how would you feel then in a couple of years' time, knowing that you paid 25 grand for this car and in 2 years' time you've had a lot of fun in it, but you're likely to only sell it for around 15 grand?
Not so good, not so good. You know, it's, I guess, one of those things where you sort of, you weigh up, you know, is it worth the fun? And half of me says it is, and, you know, half of me, the boss says, well, no, it won't be.
Yeah, but who's winning at the moment? Which are?
The wee boy in me is winning.
So is that the one for you down the Mitsubishi showroom tomorrow? Get your checkbook out and buy one of them?
It was quick, you know, it was the real sports car, but, you know, the bachelor in me says that's what it would be, but, you know, the married man in me and, you know, for my harmony of my life to come, it'll have to be the Audi.
You're going to go for an Audi?
Oh, she'd love this.
Yeah, but you're not married yet. I thought you
Yeah,
wanted a bit of fun. Well, good luck. I hope you do go and find one. Thanks for spending the day with me.
Appreciate it, yeah.
And let us know how you get on.
Smashing, thank you.
Andy hasn't made his final commitment to the Audi yet. He might still listen to the small boy inside him and go for a Mitsubishi. If you're looking for a used car, go to 4car.co.uk for the largest selection of classified car ads in the country. In part 2, what's a clone when it's not a sheep, and how could it affect you? And what do you think Daisy will get for her Morris? Call the competition line with your estimate and you could win a track day out for 2. What Daisy will get for her Morris Minor. Get it right and you and a mate could end up hurtling around a Grand Prix racetrack. The lines are open for another 7 minutes. And that's not all. Log on to 4car.co.uk and find out how to win a nearly new Golf. Ever wondered how a thief can sell on a stolen motor without being caught? Well, let me introduce you to cloning, the fastest growing motoring scam in the country. Thieves nick a motor, then disguise the fact that it's stolen by giving it the registration number and the identity of another similar looking vehicle. They do this by applying to the DVLA for replacement registration or V5 document for a car that they don't even own, often picked at random. They can then use this bogus document to sell on the stolen car. So now there are 2 cars driving around with the same registration number. One of them's stolen and one of them's kosher. And it's unlikely that anyone will pick this up until at least one of the cars is sold on. Sounds too simple to be true? Well, I'm going to try an experiment. I've got a registration document here for another red Ford Escort, and I'm going to turn this car into a clone of the one that's on this V5. On a convincing clone, the vehicle identification number or VIN plate under the bonnet and corresponding number on the chassis must be changed to match the details on the V5 along with the registration plates. Any other identifying marks like etched windows and model badges are also changed or simply removed. After a morning's work, this one's ready for our little experiment. To the trained eye, this is obviously a clone, but what would the average buyer make of it? Well, I've got a couple of average-looking guys sniffing around the stock in the showroom, and I'm going to get them out here to see if they can tell me what they think is wrong with this tiny little Escort. Right then, lads, out you come. You must be Nero. Hello, Nero. Right. How are you? Paul?
How'd you do?
How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah.
Now, tell me, what car experience have you got?
Done a bit of tinkering, old ones, new ones, may have bought a few, sold a few.
Let's have a look at your hands. Yeah, you got dirt underneath your fingernails. How about you, Paul?
Bought a few, sold a few. Bought some good ones, bought some bad ones.
So you've had your fingers burnt in the past?
Unfortunately, yes.
Right, let's see what you make of my nice little Ford Escort.
All right.
Now, these two haven't got a clue what's wrong with this motor. All I've told them is that they should take a look at it as if they want to buy it. And I'm going to play devil's advocate as the car salesman from hell.
It's a bit suspicious because he's got no service history, there's no tax disc, old MOT certificates, nothing, which is a bit suspect, considering that if you look at actually at the steering wheel, it's very shiny.
Sorry, mate, I hear the word suspect mentioned around one of my pride and bits of stock. What's wrong with it?
Well, you've got no service history on it.
It's an old car.
It's an old car, absolutely, but there's no bills either. There's no old tax discs, not even old MOTs.
Well, the previous owner just didn't give me any.
Yeah.
I mean, when you take a car in of this age in part exchange, really, it's very, very unlikely that you're going to get any paperwork with it. Well done, lads. You know what general points to look out for when buying any second-hand motor, so surely it's only a matter of time before you start getting suspicious. Right, lads.
Good one.
Tell me what you're up to.
All right. Check the paperwork out. Just make sure you've got the VIN plate there. I'm just making sure the numbers match what's on the logbook.
On the registration,
Yep.
always a good thing to do.
Yep.
SF AA XXBB AA JB 29721.
Well done.
Can you believe it? Our cloning scan seems to be working. First they fall for my conspicuously shiny vehicle identification plate, and then they're completely fooled by my bogus chassis number.
29721.
Yeah, well that matches.
And now they can't find the engine number, which we've rather ingeniously hidden, all of which would make them suspicious. But instead they've fallen for it, and now they're barking up a tree in a different county. But is Paul about to make a big discovery?
What's that bit there, mate?
Well, that's where it had another registration number, but I think this car had a private registration number on it.
Doesn't mean broken into.
No. Or it could, the glass could have been replaced, you know, from a breaker's yard. Oh dear. Now I know that cloning is hard to spot, but the re-etched windows are probably the biggest giveaway. And these two have swallowed my dodgy car dealer spill without being the least bit suspicious. It looks like they've swallowed the scam, so it's time to give them a big helping hand. You were right when you said that the VIN plate does look shiny.
Yeah.
But it also does look genuine. We've only spent 20-25 minutes aging this VIN plate, which are easily bought over the telephone, stamped with the car's details in that we wanted to. We've stamped these details in. You've looked at the chassis number, what? How many times?
3.
And you failed to notice this. That is just filler, and there's a chassis number that we've stamped in over the top. This car, in fact, is not the car on a registration document. It's not the car that's on the logbook. This car is a clone. It's a clone of another car that's out there travelling on the road somewhere.
2 cars with 1 number plate.
2 cars with 1 number plate. And it only took us a morning
To do that.
to prepare it as a clone.
I would have bought it. I probably would.
would.
I mean, if I was looking for a 1.3 Escort, I would have bought it.
For that money? Yeah.
For 500 quid, I mean, it's actually a good bargain.
Are these windows genuine?
The windows, we've actually etched out the original registration number, and we've etched in a Moody number next to it.
So if you can do this to a £500 car.
What can you do to a £40,000 car?
Yeah.
This scam is so devious that individual car history checks through companies like HPI, RAC and the AA can be caught out by a well-disguised clone, but they're well worth doing because they might just highlight some of the minor discrepancies in the paperwork. The best way to tell is to just be thorough and use the tips that I've shown you today. And if you can't trust yourself to do that, then call in a qualified vehicle inspector from one of the motoring organisations. It may set you back 150 quid, but if you unsuspectingly buy a clone and the police trace it as stolen, then you'll lose your car and all the money you've forked out on it. If you correctly estimate the sale price of Daisy's Morris, you and a friend could be racing each other on a Grand Prix racetrack. You've got 2 minutes to phone in. I told Daisy to focus her sale on a more trendy marketplace, and she's gone for the local surfing community. This means putting up ads in all the local surf shops, a good bit of direct marketing. She's plumped for an asking price of 600 quid as opposed to 500 quid. Great if she can pull it off, but will she? Time passes and no one turns up. One phone call from a possible buyer comes to nothing. The MOT and Daisy's patience are both running out, which is why the Morris Minor is going to end up here at the auction. Daisy's here, the car's here, but she doesn't know that I'm here. And I'm going to spring a surprise on her and give her a bit of moral support. Looking to buy a motor, are you, love?
You bugger.
How are you?
Oh my God. I'm all right, how are you?
I'm not bad at all. I thought I'd come down to give you some moral support.
Getting the naked arm. You're
You're
going to
getting the
polish my
naked
car
arm.
for me.
Right, so really now the car's come to the end of its life.
It has.
And this is where it's come
This is where it's come.
for its final resting place.
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
I'm nervous about not making enough money. Right now, all I think is whoever's going to buy it obviously wants it.
Yeah.
Just, it's got to go.
What are we asking for it now?
Okay, I think we've put the reserve price in as £400, so we'll just pray that we reach it.
A reserve price is the lowest price you're prepared to accept at an auction. Without one, Daisy will have no choice but to accept the highest bid, even if it was way off what she wanted. But will the Morris get anywhere near Daisy's £400 reserve? Right, Daisy, car auctions can be daunting but exciting places. Now, there's a couple of rules you have to adhere to in here.
Okay.
Number one is see your hands,
Yeah.
sit on them.
Okay.
Do not go and scratch your nose
Another.
or scratch an eyelid because you'll end up
Okay.
buying a 1976 Rolls Royce or something you didn't want.
Okay.
The other thing to watch out for is
Yeah.
if your car is getting close to its selling price,
Yeah.
but it's not actually selling, but you want it gone, what you can do is you can look across to the auctioneer,
Yeah.
run your finger under your throat, and that means cut it loose, get it sold.
Okay.
All right, so they're
Cool.
the only things you have to worry about. Other
Yeah.
than that, just please God, there's plenty of buyers in here who are willing to buy a little moggy.
I hope so.
220, 220, 14, 16, 18, 3, 20. Right, here we are then, Morris Minor, this is last one for two. Medicine in July 1962, 100, 120, 120, 120, 140, 140, 160, 220, 220, 14.
Think about it, Daisy. Think about what you want to do.
240, 16, 18, 320, 14.
It's getting near.
340 back.
Can we sell it? Can we sell it?
We're going to do it.
Reason, there you go.
It's on sale.
370 back. 38, 90, 304.
Come on. Yeah, go on, Gig. How do you feel? How do you feel?
It's gone.
470 quid.
Brilliant.
Well done, Daisy. The car's gone and
Car's
sold.
gone and sold. Oh.
It leaves as it arrived at the garage on the back of a low loader. And its fate? Well, the car's transformed into a fantasy Morris Minor designed to advertise surfwear for a local shop. What a paint job. So, Daisy's sale price was 470 quid. Is that what you estimated? If it is, log on to 4car.co.uk after the show to find out if you've won a track day out for two at Donington Park. And at the garage in next week's Deals on Wheels, Fiona wants a car that really gets her going.
Yeah, baby. Oh my God, that is wicked.
And that's at the same time, 8 o'clock next Friday. For lots more help with buying and selling cars and the chance to win one, visit 4car.co.uk. Coming up in Brookside, can Max hold his nerve when Mick loses it big time? Next on 4.